The 2024 Copa Libertadores has come to an end. After an epic final in a game with many twists and turns, Botafogo came out on top and have been crowned as champions for the first time in their history, cementing themselves in glory for all eternity. And here in Rank Talks Bowl, we're gonna recap the final and the best moments of the Copa Libertadores 2024. The final between Botafogo and Atlético Mineiro was a highly anticipated one. Buenos Aires was invaded by both sets of Brazilian fans, and the Estadio Monumental was nearly at full capacity, giving a great atmosphere to a game that promised to be historic. And we didn't have to wait long for history to be made, as only 30 seconds into the game, defensive midfielder for Botafogo Gregor tried to decapitate Fausto Vera, getting himself sent off in record time and leaving Botafogo with 10 men for the rest of the game. Naturally, Mineiro began dominating possession, but despite having the ball, they weren't really doing much with it. For the most part, Botafogo was happy to sit back and defend in a low block, not allowing Mineiro's attackers any space to make runs in behind, forcing El Galo to either shoot from distance or rush in their decision making. Botafogo still needed to attack if they wanted to have a chance in this game, but they chose their moment wisely. In the 34th minute, Thiago Almada pushed forward and passed it to the edge of the box to Luis Enrique. Enrique then passed it back to Marlon Freitas to strike. His shot took a few deflections and landed back at the feet of Luis Enrique, who buried his shot under Everson to make it 1-0 to Botafogo. Needless to say, just like the fans in the stadium, Mineiro were stunned. They didn't have much of a response, and shortly after the goal, Luis Enrique, who was feeling himself on the day, escaped once again and faced Everson one-on-one, and the goalkeeper for Mineiro brought him down inside the box, and after a VAR check, Botafogo were awarded a penalty, which was taken with full power by Alex Telles. Everson dived the wrong way, and Botafogo, despite being a man down, left for the dressing rooms 2-0 up. At halftime, Milito decided to go all out and try to make the comeback, subbing in Bernard, Mariano and Eduardo Vargas, and the substitutions paid off quickly. As from a corner, only 2 minutes after the break, Huki put in an amazing cross for Eduardo Vargas to connect with a header and send the ball to the top left corner, bringing Atlético Mineiro only 1 goal behind, with a whole second half of football to be played and still being up a man. This is where we saw the best of El Galo. Mineiro pushed all the lines forward and began to create chance after chance, and it seemed like an equalizer was sure to come. In the 51st minute, another fantastic cross by Huki was headed by Daverson on the far post, but his attempt ended up going wide. Huki kept being the main driving force behind Mineiro's attack, and in the 63rd minute he shot from distance, but his attempt met the brilliant save of John Victor. However, as time kept ticking down and the equalizer didn't arrive, Mineiro began to fall into desperation. More and more crosses began to rain down on Botafogo's box just to be cleared away, but the game still had a lot in store for us. In the 85th minute, Mariano sent a through ball into the box for Eduardo Vargas to chip it over Victor, but his shot ended up going just over the crossbar. But only 3 minutes later, Vargas would have a chance to redeem himself. After a miscommunication between Adrielson and Barbosa left the Chilean striker all alone in front of John Victor, but instead of softly chipping it over the keeper, he sent the ball to Mars, wasting 2 huge opportunities for Mineiro back to back. And instead, it will be Botafogo, the one to have the last laugh. In the 97th minute, with the last remaining seconds of stoppage time ticking down, Junior Santos received the ball and took it all the way to the corner flag. One would think that he did this to time waste, but no, Jogo Bonito flows down this man's veins. He only made his professional debut at 23, since before that he was a construction worker. And yet, he stepped over the ball and escaped from the 2 men marking him, Drifting inside the box and sliding in a pass that was poorly cleared by a defender, the ball landed back at his feet and he tapped the ball in to score the definitive 3-1 that saw Botafogo be crowned as Copa Libertadores champions. With this, El Fogao earned their second ever international trophy along with the 1993 Conmebol Cup, and their fourth piece of silverware as a whole, adding in the 1968 and 1995 league titles. Massive congratulations to Botafogo and their fans for this victory, especially having to fight for the entire game with only 10 men. They really deserved it all the way through. Now it's time to look back and select the best and the worst moments of the 2024 Copa Libertadores. Palmeiras nil, San Lorenzo nil. Neither team really wanted to attack as the result benefited both teams, giving us a game better suited for people with insomnia. Palmeiras 2, Botafogo 2. Funny that Palmeiras was both in the worst and the best game played this year. This one seemed done and dusted. Botafogo took a 2-0 lead and were 4-1 up on aggregate, but Palmeiras fought their way back. With only 10 minutes to go, they scored twice, bringing Botafogo to the edge of a massive bottle job. In the 94th minute, Gustavo Gomez scored for Palmeiras, but after a VAR check, the goal that would have taken the game to penalties was disallowed. And in the last kick of the game, Menino smashed his free kick against the crossbar, and so Botafogo escaped and eliminated one of the favorites in dramatic fashion. Jaime Baez's first goal in the second leg between Peñarol and Botafogo. It didn't matter in the end, but what a missile it was. I was really hesitant about this one. From Botafogo, players like Savarino, Thiago Almada, Igor Jesus and John Victor were all key to their eventual victory. But I decided to go with Luis Enrique, who capped off an amazing campaign with a man of the match performance in the final. And this is how my predictions ended. After jinxing the hell out of Atlético Mineiro, I end up with 70 correct predictions and 53 incorrect. A disappointing end to the campaign, but still a positive record overall. 70 will now be the goal to beat next year. Anyway, I want to thank everyone who's watched the entirety of this series and also those who might be watching me for the very first time. This journey was amazing and I'm looking forward to doing it all over again next year. Thank you all so much for watching. Congratulations again to Botafogo for their victory, and I'll see you all next time.